being a backroom staff member now is, when I first got the job, and obviously being with the boys last season, and it was a good season, getting promoted, winning by record points tally, champions, and then being able to have the final game and bow out on a high. It was really good. But since I've come back, I mean, the boys have been trying to give me a little bit of stick, because they see me now as the other side.
Yep.
Wearing a black kit and a white t-shirt, but it's been good. I mean, the boys always ask me how things are going, am I enjoying it, which I am. But it wasn't a hard decision for me to make. It was for a little bit, obviously, continuing to carry on playing and I'll go into the new venture of coaching. But as I said, there's a little bit of back and forth on what I wanted to do, but then I knew I wanted to do coaching. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I thought it's good for me to now get in early at a good club on the rise, and to look on the other side of my career now, obviously for a bit of longevity in the coaching side. I mean, for me, I see it as that you've got to aim as high as you can. I think if you start settling for, let's just survive, I think you go into a season with that sort of mentality of, we can just get enough points to stay up and then we can build from there. But I think it's easier just to aim as high as you can, and if you do finish below those relegation places, at least you could say, at least we try to get to a top 1, top 2 automatic, or there's the top 6 as a playoff place. So I think we've got to go into aiming as high as we can, which I think the boys have done, and I think that's the way to look forward. You can't think of that middle ground of, oh, if we finish mid-table, it's a good season. I think it's aiming for as high as you can, and if you fall down, at least you know that you're in a good position to be safe at the end of the year. Yeah, no, for me, I've always liked working with kids. I think I've always done that from even before I started turning pro sort of thing. And every club you go to, there's always a lot of interaction with kids, whether you do your community stuff or your day-to-day signings and things. And I mean, I've always enjoyed working with kids, but for me, doing the age group that I'm doing, I saw it firstly as an opportunity for me to coach and develop myself as a coach. A lot of people, when they finish playing, they tend to want to fall into the first team side of things, or the reserve levels, where you don't actually get to coach as much because the players' knowledge is a lot better than the kids that I coach now. So for me, it was more in a way of being able to coach and get my experience. But I mean, what I say to them is just trying to do the right things, and then it's not so much on the pitch, it's a lot of off the pitch as well. And partly of that is the time I've been working with kids. I do a lot of mentoring as well, and that's not always associated with football. A lot of it is associated with, you know, off-field stuff, schooling, education, where they live, what sort of things you should get into. And it's similar to what I'm doing now with the kids I'm coaching, as well as trying to enhance their footballing abilities and mind as well, because a lot of it now at this age is the understanding of the game. We all know that the kids can play football, but a lot of it now is the understanding of the game, positional based, tactically based, and just trying to keep improving them. Just mayhem. I mean, that's how I saw it. I saw it as, firstly, just down to ignorance, being bad losers, and then just to see someone's reaction of kicking a ball away turns into a second bookable offence, and not to think of nothing being mentioned of what he had to go through for that 90 minutes. Not just him, but yes, he was the main name who's been brought up, but just for the black players that were involved in the England squad, and obviously their teammates of being white as well, because it affects everybody. So for me, it was just that as a country, yes, we know we've come far, but we know that there's still work to be done, and it's the same in other countries as well. But we say, yes, it's a thing in society, but it is still a football issue. If you can make those four walls of a football ground be a haven for nothing to happen, then you can say that we've done something. But for it to continue from the outside and coming into the football grounds, that's where we've got to make a bigger stance, and that comes from the powers that be of UEFA, FIFA, and to all the associations around in Europe and around the world. So once we can get that sorted out, it does make job's easier for people and associations that Kick It Out and Show Racing the Red Card that I do work for to continue to work. And it's not just at football pitches. I mean, we go around educating young kids because that's where it starts from them. I mean, we've got our generation now, it's down to the next generation that they're aware and they know the issues of racism, so we need to continue doing that. I mean, on the plus side, it's made everyone listen. It's taken away, it's made the discussions continue that things need to change now. There have been a few meetings, I've been updated yesterday that about a plan which has been put forward again, and it's a case of knowing where to go and what to do once incidents arise. And I think at the moment there is that inconsistency levels of punishments and what levels it takes to be banned and things like that. It doesn't matter if you say it once, twice or 8 times, it is still once is too many times. Yeah. And I think it just needs to be drawn to say, right, if this happens, this is what X is going to be. There's going to be no middle ground, and it means that us as players, we need to still do more, but we obviously need that help from the powers that be to back us in a way of to say, right, if this is what's going to happen, this is what's going to be dealt with, that's the consequences. But there is no right or wrong. I mean, the boys are still supporting the campaign. It was just that it was something that came up at a time where it felt that there was no confidence in either the Kick It Out or PFA campaign when all the incidents happened. So now it's just about everyone moving forward together what the plan is, and these are the discussions which have been happening. As I said, I've been updated yesterday on the next way forward, and it's just waiting to see what we can come back with from there. No, I didn't buy into it at all. I mean, I just saw it as it's someone just coming up and continuing the issue, but probably on a negative side. As we said that, I mean, the players are fully backing the campaign of Kick It Out, and there was nothing against it. All it is basically saying that it just needs more help to continue the good work that it's doing, and to have a breakaway, it just wouldn't make sense at all, because it is segregating. It's not about segregation now, it's about everyone working together to get the results we need. And when I spoke to one of the guys involved in weekends non-t-shirt wearing, I was saying it for me on a personal level is that I'm associated to Kick It Out. I need to know how they're looking to move forward. I need to know how the PFA are looking to move forward, because as a member of those. But importantly as well is that now that I'm in the coaching side of things, if an incident did arise with a player that I'm working with, I need to know who I can go to and will they get that help which is needed. And over the past, it's players that have done certain things and haven't felt as confident that the right actions will be taken. So it's I'm not saying it's up to me, but it's part of something which I need to look at to say if it does or did happen, that I know where to go to, and I do feel confident that something can get done. I mean, and people sometimes say that it's, deal with it, just get on with it, but if you're not in my shoes, then that's the thing. I think it's not something that can just be sort of brushed under the carpet because someone has said something. If someone has said something to hurt you, if someone has said to me, which you get week in, week out from opposition fans just because of the team you play for and your local rivals, yeah, that's part of the game. But when it comes to insulting or colour or religion or anything like that, that's not needful. You know, that's someone trying to get under your skin and wanting a reaction, and the reaction could be, well, I'm not standing for this, walk off the pitch if need be. I'm not standing for it to an authority. When it happened to me, you know, I was more in shock, if anything, because one, I wasn't even involved in the game, and two, it was the fact that when it happened, it was like he just turned a blind eye as if it was like the norm. And it was the same with more the people that are around him. You know, I had more of a go at the people that are around him rather than the actual person that did it, because for them not to say anything, they seem to make it like it's okay, or it's, I didn't hear it, I'm not going to do anything about it. But they are in a matter of inches from the person that said it and thought it was okay to say. So it's not so much about always the person who says it, it's those that are around them that don't say anything, that think that it's okay to do. And when I said I was more in shock, but when Ian Holloway, he heard about it, for 10 minutes he was going absolutely crazy while the game was going on.
I imagine, yeah.
So it said it doesn't just affect saying myself as a black person, it affected my manager because he doesn't agree with it the same way how a lot of other people shouldn't either. It's hard for me because I played as a centre midfielder and as a striker, and I mean I always sort of narrow three down in the positions I played in, and whenever I played up front I always used to say like my toughest opponents was like Sol Campbell, Martin Keown, Sammy Hippier, and Rio is my sort of fourth defender. But in centre midfield, I always say that it was Vieira, Paul Scholes, and Roy Keane were sort of my toughest opponents. But I always say I was fortunate to have played against a lot of great players, and in two different positions. It just makes it a little more special. So, and then even to play with players as well at different clubs. I mean, even being here playing with Paolo for that one season, I mean, I did learn a lot on how he played and how he looked after himself at a later stage of his career, which is something I did. And you just always look back and think of how fortunate I was to have played against so many good players and with good players. So yeah. Ronaldo's probably more of an all-round sort of player because he can score with his head, his left foot, right foot, free kicks, but there's no different to what Messi does. Messi has scored a lot of goals with his head. He scored one in the Champions League a few years ago, and people, he's only 5 foot, whatever he is, but he does. But I think he just gives you something, brings you something different to the team, and even with the players around him, is that even if they score goals, he will score goals. What frightens me is the fact that he plays every game and every minute. I've never seen him being taken off. I just think it's just how much he just loves playing a game, and I think he always takes it the right way. I think for someone to get kicked all over the place and he'll still get up and just dust himself off and carry on, I think it's more down to his character as a person, just to think, well, this is what it's about. If this means I'm the best player in the world, and I've got to expect it. So, I mean, I always put Messi as the front runner for me. I mean, that's what Twitter's there for. That's what Facebook's there for. And then for me, that's why I joined those sites. It's more in a way of interaction with people. And you're going to get 99% of people that are genuine, that actually just want to talk to you and get to know you and see what you're up to. Obviously, you've got that small minority, the ones that are a pain in the, but for me, that's the reasons why I got onto Facebook and to Twitter for that interaction, because it is a case of you want to get to know the fans, because at the end of the day, the fans are the ones that have supported you throughout your career as well as your family, but they're the ones that you want to go out and play well for, as well as for yourself and your teammates in the club, but it's the fans as well, because they're the ones that will go through thick and thin to get to grounds up and down the country on whatever night, whatever weather. So yeah, I say Twitter, at Jason Euell or Facebook. This is Jason Euell, and you've been tuned into Double Take Debate.